This short video will show you how I took a Canadian belt knife made by Cold Steel and converted it into a custom Woods Runner knife for under $25, including the cost of the knife. Those of you who are familiar with knives in general will very likely recognize the Cold Steel brand. They're an outstanding blade for a reasonable cost. The first step, which I would never suggest be omitted, would be covering the blade for two purposes. Number one, to protect your hands during the activity of removing the handle. And number two, to protect the finish of the blade. What I use to protect the surface of the blade and also protect my hand from the very sharp edge was several layers of electrical tape. They're easily removed once the project is over, and it provides reasonable protection for your hands so long as you pay attention to what you're doing throughout the process. The next step is to drill into the handle with an ordinary drill until you have found the edge of the steel. Once you have found the edge of the steel, you continue to drill into the handle and then use a hacksaw to start cutting slices in the plastic to make it easier to remove. Like I said before, this was a difficult task, and they really know how to attach their handles. Once you have removed all of the remnants of the original plastic handle, it's time to figure out the proper size that you'll need of the tang to affix your choice of a new handle. In the example here, my choice was the tine of a deer antler. So I drilled through the portion of the antler that I wanted to introduce the end of the tang of the blade into, and so I had to remove some of the blade tang. I did this with a file, a grinder, and a hacksaw, and it was still a chore. That steel is pretty hard. Once you have finished shaping the tang to the proper size that you'd require, put a hole. In my choice was an antler. You may want to use wood or whatever. I fitted it once I decided it was the proper size and went to the proper depth. I filled the inside of the antler cavity with epoxy and then set the blade into the epoxy. After the blade was installed and the epoxy had cured, I cleaned off the tape from the blade, polished up the blade and the antler with some 4/0 steel wool, and then fashioned a leather sheath from materials that I purchased at Tandy Leather. Of course, I have to have an original if I modify someone else's product to make what I consider my personal custom ideas. But as you can see, both of these knives are pretty good looking, and I hope to put them both through many years of long service. Thanks for watching.